Hello everyone, welcome to Sandhya's Biology Tutorials. In this video, I will be sharing you the NEET 2018 question paper with you along with the explanations. So without any late, let us start with the first question. So in the first question, you can see oxygen is not produced during photosynthesis by. There are they are asking about the organisms which do not produce the oxygen. If you can see the options below, Cycas, you know about the cycas. Cycas is a gymnosperm. Gymnosperm will definitely produces the oxygen. And coming to the nostoc, anabina, all these are blue-green algae. They will also definitely produces the oxygen during the photosynthesis. And if you see the third option, green sulfur bacteria. So you know that the green sulfur bacteria, what it will contains usually, it will contains H2S. So whenever H2S is reacted and there will be release of sulfur and not the oxygen. So directly the answer is green sulfur bacteria because they are like they will as there will be hydrogen sulfide is present, it will releases the sulfur, not oxygen. So and if you see the last option, Cara, so Cara is also definitely produces the oxygen during the photosynthesis. So the first question answer is green sulfur bacteria. Now moving on to the next question, second one, double fertilization. You know that we have already studied about this double fertilization in sexual reproduction in flowering plants. You know that there will be whenever two male gametes will enter, it will enters through which one? It will enters through the micropylar end. So these two male gametes when they enter through the micropylar end, then one here synergids will be present. So one of the male gamete will fuses with the synergid, and then when egg and synergid when they fuse, it will forms into the zygote. And another male gamete will fuses with the secondary polar nuclei. When this another male gamete will fuses with secondary polar nuclei, it will forms into endosperm later. So as there are two times fertilization is happening, here once and here once, it is called as double fertilization. As we know the concept, then it will be easy to answer the question. So if you see the options, fusion of two male gametes with one egg, no. Two male gametes do not fuse with one egg. One male gamete goes here and another male gamete will be present over here. And coming to the second option, fusion of one male gamete with two polar nuclei. But how many polar nuclei are present? Only one polar nuclei will be present. One polar nuclei. So second is also wrong. And coming to the third option, fusion of two male gametes of pollen tube with two different eggs. But here two different eggs are not there. One egg fuses with one male gamete and another one is secondary polar nuclei, which is not an egg. Okay, only one egg it will fuses. And coming to the last option, if you see, it is syngamy and triple fusion. Yes, so the formation of zygote, it is called as syngamy because there is a fusion of both male and female gamete is happening over here. That is syngamy. And why this endosperm formation is called as triple fusion? Because in the secondary polar nuclei, two cells are fused together. So the second question answer is double fertilization is syngamy and triple fusion. Coming to the third question, which one of the following plants shows a very close relationship with a species of moth? So as we have studied a lot, whenever we discuss about moth, immediately we will get which plant into our mind. Immediately you will get a plant called as yucca. Yucca moth relationship you know already. So let us see whether yucca is there or not. Yes, here yucca is there. So they cannot complete their life cycles without each other, both yucca and the moth. So the answer is yucca. And next coming to the fourth one, pollen grains can be stored for several years in liquid nitrogen having the temperature of. So the storage of pollen grains in liquid nitrogen, what is the term it is called as? It is called as cryopreservation. So in liquid nitrogen, you will able to store the pollen grains for the future sake and under the negative temperature. How much negative temperature? It is around minus 180 to minus 90, 190, like that we have studied. So let us see the options. So minus 196, minus 80, minus 120, minus 160. So which one is more appropriate? It is minus 196 degrees Celsius at liquid nitrogen. There will be storage which is called as cryopreservation. So the answer is minus 196 degrees Celsius. Coming to the fifth question. Which one of the following elements is responsible for maintaining turgor in cells? So what do you mean by turgor or turgidity? Turgidity in the sense you know about the turgor pressure that and all. If anything enters into the cell, so that will happen. So if you see the options below, there is a potassium is there and sodium is there and magnesium is there and calcium is there. So out of this, which will help for the sake of turgidity? Turgidity means if this is a cell, something can enters, and if it enters, there will be the swelling will happen. That is the turgor pressure. So let us see, you know about the magnesium. If you take, mainly it is responsible. Where it is present, it will be present in the chlorophyll. So if the chlorophyll is mainly responsible for the sake of photosynthesis, and magnesium will be present in that. And if you take the calcium and sodium for the sake of permeability of the cell membrane, these two will be useful. Means selective permeability will happen and also the permeability will happen. So both are for permeability only. One is for selective permeable and another one is also for the permeability of anything. If anything has to enter, that is called as permeability. For that, these two will be required. But in order to maintain the turgor pressure, there will be the potassium ion is required. This is mainly helpful to maintain the turgor pressure. So that is potassium. Now moving on to the sixth question. What is the role of NAD plus in cellular respiration? So what do you mean by cellular respiration? Is it aerobic or anaerobic? That and all. Also, you have to know if oxygen is involved, it is aerobic, and if oxygen is not involved, it is anaerobic respiration. So, in cellular respiration, what is the role of NAD plus? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So, what is the main function of this or role of this? Is let us see the options. It's a nucleotide source of ATP synthesis. ATP synthesis will happen, but NAD plus won't be helpful for the sake of ATP synthesis. And if you see the next one, it functions as an electron carrier. So if you know about the cellular respiration, definitely you know that NAD plus will act as a for the sake of electron carrier, it will be useful. It won't function as an enzyme and it is not the final electron acceptor. So what is the answer? It functions as an electron acceptor. If at all there is an acceptor of electron, then later there will be the production of the NADH plus, all those things will happen. That is called as cellular respiration. Next, coming to the seventh question, in which of the following forms is iron absorbed by plants? So the plants require iron, but in which form they will be absorbed? They will take the iron. That is, they want to ask you. So let us see if it is a free element. No, definitely not. It is a free element. And if you take ferrous, ferric, both ferric and ferrous. So here, if you take in some most of the plants, if you take, it will be in the form of ferric. So iron will be absorbed in the form of ferric oxide like that. Not ferrous in some of the plants it will be there, but most of the plants the iron will be absorbed by ferric and in some there will be ferrous also. Don't get confused here, but most it is ferric, so you have to opt for ferric oxide like that it will be absorbable, not ferrous. That is about the seventh question. And moving on to the eighth one, which of the following is commonly used as a vector for introducing a DNA fragment in human lymphocytes? We know about the lymphocytes means we have studied about the ADA deficiency. What is ADA? Adenosine deaminase. So this is an enzyme which is mainly responsible for the sake of your body immunity. For why it is responsible for your body immunity? Because in the lymphocytes, for the formation of the lymphocytes, either T or B lymphocytes, this enzyme is very much necessary. So if at all there is a deficiency of this enzyme, which we call it as ADA deficiency, then what happens? Your immunity system won't work properly. So at that cases, so you will usually introduce a fragment which can able to produce this enzyme. This we have studied in the biotechnology. So through using which one you can able to introduce this ADA fragment into the human lymphocytes that they are asking. So anything, if any fragment needs to be entered into the human lymphocytes, definitely you will be using retrovirus. So retrovirus is main vector which is used for introduction of DNA fragment into the human lymphocytes. So it is retrovirus. And the next options, if you see, you know about the plasmid Bolivar Rodriguez 322, which is PBR 322. It is an artificially made vector, constructed vector, and lambda phage for transduction, that and all we will use. And TI plasmid is mainly for plants. In order to introduce anything into the plants, we will use tumor inducing plasmid. That is about the eighth question. Now let us see the ninth one. Use of bioresources by multinational companies, that is MNCs, and organizations without authorization from the concerned country and its people, means without taking um, any permission from MNCs and without taking any permission from them, most of the MNCs and companies they will use their products. So what is that called as? You know that it's a direct question. It is nothing but biopiracy. You might have heard about CD, movie piracy, all those things. If it is a CD one, it's a CD piracy. But here the life itself is getting pirated. So it is biopiracy. Without consulting the people, they are taking the MNCs and organizations are taking it. That is biopiracy. And you know about the other things won't come in this, so you can leave that. That is about the ninth question. Now let us move on to the 10th one. In India, the organization responsible for assessing the safety of introducing genetically modified organisms, which is nothing but GMOs. So if the GMOs needs to be safely introduced for public usage, so which has to give approval, that they wanted to ask. So you know that it's a direct question and very easy question. You know about GEAC. What is GEAC? Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So that is the major thing. So if you see the D option here, I think there is a printing mistake. They had given Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. It is not appraisal committee, it is approval committee. Why we can opt only that? Why can't we opt other things means? for the sake of GMOs and safety things, only GEAC is considered, not other things. So, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Now let us move on to the 11th question. The correct order of the steps in PCR. Very easy question. You know that in PCR what you will do. The first step is the double-stranded DNA. You will make this into the single-stranded DNA. So the process of making the double-stranded DNA into single-stranded DNAs. So this is a double-stranded DNA. You will make a single-stranded DNA. This process is called as denaturation. What do you mean by denaturation? That means what you are doing it here. You are breaking the bonds between the nucleotides. Here the hydrogen bonds will be present, that hydrogen bonds will be broken down, which is called as denaturation. And after that, here the primer will be added and then annealing will happen. When you add the primer, then addition of the primers will happen, which is called as annealing, and after that the extension will happen. So these are the three steps which are involved in PCR, polymerase chain reaction: denaturation, annealing, and extension. So it's a direct question. So what is the option? Option D. Okay. Now coming on to the 12th question. Select the correct match over here. So they have asked you about the science. They have given the scientist name also, T.H. Morgan. So Morgan, you know about what he has done. Transduction means, what is transduction? The introduction of bacterial anything through the virus. Whenever virus bacteriophage is involved, that is called as transduction. Okay, but Morgan has not done this. Morgan has done about the genetic experiments, that one. And coming on to the dihybrid cross, you know about the dihybrid cross, the F2 generation. When it is crossed with the selfing of F2, when it happens, it is dihybrid cross. But here what they had given, F2 into recessive parent. So this is also the not correct match. Then coming to the ribozyme, which is a nucleic acid. Yes, so the ribozyme, well, it is a, actually it is a ribonuclease. Okay, it is a ribonuclease. In this ribonuclease, the enzyme will be present, ribozyme, which acts like a catalyst in order to increase or speed up the reaction. So the ribozyme is a nucleic acid. This is the correct match. And let us see the final match also, Mendel and transformation. You know about Griffith's transforming principle. Directly you know that transformation is by Griffith, not by Mendel. So 12th answer is ribozyme, nucleic acid. Now move on to the 13th question. So here they have given a new variety of rice was patented by a foreign company, though such varieties have been present in India for a long time. This is related to which, what crop or like that they had given. So you know about the India. Our India has how many in biodiversity we have studied that our India has thousands different thousand strains of rice or different rice varieties are present in biodiversity. We have already studied this. Thousand strains of rice will be present, and different varieties of mangoes are also present. So I think mangoes are thousand varieties, and this is more 10,000 varieties of strains like that it is there. So mango it is thousand. So these among these many varieties of rice, basmati rice is the majorly concerned thing. They have taken the basmati rice, so and they have hybridized the basmati rice with the they have crossed the basmati rice which has been taken from India, and they have crossed with the semi-dwarf varieties. And due to which when they cross, they have got a new variety. Okay, so that new variety of rice has been patented by the foreign company, but actually they have taken our basmati rice. So the answer is basmati rice. Now let us move on to the next question. So the 14th question, if you see, which one of the following pairs is wrongly matched? Let us see the options. X0 type of sex determination will be present in grasshopper. So definitely you know that there will be X, not X0 type. One will be absent, that's why it is X0. And ABO blood grouping is a codominance. So here you can able to see ABO blood grouping. In this ABO, if you take AB, if you take blood group, it is for the dominance. It is nothing but codominance is happening over here in the ABO blood grouping. And but here if you take AB, then it is codominance. Okay. ABO they had given. So you opt out that also. And next coming to the starch synthesis in P. So if you take the starch synthesis in P, it is not multiple allelism. What do you mean by multiple alleles? Many different types of alleles will be present. That is multiple allelism. But here starch synthesis in P. So the starch synthesis in P you can differentiate into three things. So one will be the seed will be very constricted like this. Why it will be constricted? Because there is less synthesis of starch inside that. And one will be synthesis of starch is also good and the seed coat is also good. And another one, starch synthesis will be more, but here the starch synthesis will be little bit less, so it will be little inflated like this. So these three different types you can able to see. So one gene, it is characterizing two things over here for the synthesis of starch and also the shape of the seed. Both are concentrated by only one gene, and that mechanism is called as what? It is nothing but pleiotropy. One gene, many works. That is nothing but pleiotropy. So here, but they had given it as multiple alleles. So that is the wrong option over here. And T.H. Morgan, he is the scientist who has worked about the linkage experiment. So 14th option is C. Now coming on to the 15th question, select the correct statement. So in this, the first statement is spliceosomes take part in translation. So what do you mean by splicing? Removal of introns is nothing but splicing. So for that removal of introns, spliceosomes are necessary. So where you will remove the introns? From the DNA, whenever mRNA is forming. So from DNA to mRNA, what do you call this process as? It is called as transcription. So whenever transcription will occurs in the mRNA, you will be having both exons and introns. If this is an exon and if these are the introns, so this introns needs to be removed. That removal of introns is called as splicing. And for this splicing, spliceosomes are required. So you know about this. But here what they had given, spliceosomes take part in translation. No, it is a post-transcriptional method. So after the transcription, you know about the steps which are involved. There are three steps. Polyadenylation means here uh, many adenyl groups will be added, which is called as polyadenylation in the tail region. And here capping is done at the 5' end. Methyl, this one will be added. So 5' capping and 3' polyadenylation and then removal of introns, which is a splicing. All these three are post-transcriptional modifications. So the first option is not correct. And coming to the second option, Punnett square was developed by British scientist. Yes, Punnett square has been developed by Reynold G. Punnett, who is a British scientist only. And the third one, Franklin Thurl coined the term linkage. So whenever linkage comes, actually who is the scientist will comes under that Morgan. But here they had given Stull. You know about Michelson, Stull and Hershey, Michelson Stull experiment. So Michelson and Stull, what they have done? They have done one experiment in order to prove that DNA is a genetic material. For that, Michelson and Stull has proposed the one experiment, but here they had given linkage usually by Morgan. So C is the wrong answer. And moving on to the 16th question, the experimental proof for semi-conservative replication of DNA was first shown in. What is the first experiment in order to prove that the DNA or semi-conservative replication of the DNA? So for the semi-conservative replication of DNA, if you remember the nitrogen, radioactive nitrogens N14, N15, this and all has been used. And in that, the bacterium which has been used is Escherichia coli bacterium and cesium chloride density gradient centrifugation method. And this is the method, this is the bacterium, and these are the radioactive nitrogens they have used it. So if you see the options, bacterium. So the 16th question answer is bacterium. That to which bacterium? Escherichia coli. Now moving on to the 17th question. Which one of the following flowers only once in its lifetime? You know about this. The bamboo flowers will flower once in their lifetime, but many will be produced. So that is the bamboo species. Coming on to the offsets. So what are offsets? Offsets, if you see the acornia, that is water hyacinth. So that vegetatively whenever it is propagated, vegetative propagation whenever it happens, then the offsets will be formed. If this is an one acornia, you know that. So if the here one beautiful flower is there, so this is nothing but an offset. Okay, so what is the question they have asked? Offsets are produced by. As this offset, it is a vegetative propagation. Which cells will be involved in this because it is a vegetative propagation? So definitely vegetative cells are involved. For the vegetative cells, mitosis, mitotic division will occur for the vegetative cells. So what is the answer over here? If you see which question, 18th question. So it is mitotic divisions. Next, move on to the 19th question. You have to match it. Select the correct match. Okay. So Michelson and Stull. So they have used which one? Escherichia coli, but not Pisum sativum. So it's a wrong match. And Hershey and Chase. Hershey and Chase, they have used the bacteriophage in order to prove the final proof for the DNA as the genetic material. It is by Hershey and Chase. In that, they have used the bacteriophage, the transduction method. So you can opt out that, not tobacco mosaic virus. And then Alec Jeffreys. Alec Jeffrey, he's concerned for the DNA fingerprinting. So you can opt out that. And next coming to the Francis Jacob and Jacques Monod. So this is the operon concept. So Jacob and Monod, operon concept has been produced. So that is the correct answer. And now next coming on to the 20th question. Which of the following has proved helpful in preserving the pollen as fossils? Very easy question. You know about the pollen structure. So the pollen grain, if you take, there will be outer layer which is called as exine, and there will be an inner layer which is called as an intine. So the outer layer, there will be special pores like this. Pores also will be present, but it is protected. It is made up of one sporopollenin. So this sporopollenin is mainly responsible for what? This will help for preserving the pollen grains, sporopollenin, because it is highly resistant to acids, alkalis, and everything. So the sporopollenin Well, helps to preserve the pollen grains. Next, coming to the natality. What do you mean by natality? Natality refers to the birth rate is nothing but the natality. Mortality is the death rate. Natality is the birth rate. And if you take the number of individuals leaving the habitat, immigration. Here you should know only one letter, there will be change. If they are leaving the habitat, it is emigration. If they are entering into the habitat, it is immigration. And natality is the birth rate and mortality is the death rate. So here 21 is B. Next, coming to the World Ozone Day is celebrated on. So for this, it's a by hearting and memorizing question. So when the World Ozone Day is celebrated, it is celebrated on September 16th. Okay, and in the June, Earth Day, I think, and Environment Day, that and all. So World Ozone Day is on September 16th. Next, move on to the 23rd question. Which of the following is a secondary pollutant? So, what is a secondary pollutant? Whenever the primary pollutants react together, then there will be a formation of the secondary pollutant. So whenever the reaction happens between the primary pollutants, then secondary pollutants will be formed. If you see sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, all these are primary pollutants. But if you take ozone, so ozone, how it is formed? It is formed by the reaction from oxygen when it is reacted with the other things. Then there will be the formation of the ozone. So here the ozone is a secondary pollutant. Next, coming to the niche. So what is niche or niche? Niche is nothing but the organisms where they live, the specific environment, which is a functional environment, is nothing but the niche. So if you see the options over here, so the functional role played by an organism where it lives. So if at all this is an area, in this area the specific organism is living in this specific area, what type of role it will be playing towards the ecosystem and everything, means with the environment and everything, that is called as a niche. So the answer is the functional role played by an organism where it lives is called as niche or niche. Coming to the 25th question, what type of ecological pyramid would be obtained with the following data? So they have given the some data and you have to know what type of ecological pyramid. So for ecological pyramid, you know that always at the base what will be present? At the base there will be T1 level and next T2 level and next T3 trophic levels will be there in an ecological pyramid. But usually T1 trophic levels will be more. Usually it will be upright, but let us see the data over here. So T1 trophic level, there will be primary producers all the time and T2 primary consumers will be present and T3 secondary consumers will be present. Now if we see the data, primary producer, it is only 10 grams. It is grams means they are discussing about the biomass, pyramid of biomass they are discussing. So pyramid of biomass for the primary producers it is only 10 grams and secondary primary consumer it is 60 grams. So next you will get the primary consumers. So this is 60 grams, so it will be little bit bigger when compared to the primary producers. And secondary consumer if you take, so the secondary consumer it is 120 grams. So still more bigger if it is 120 grams over here. So if you observe this pyramid, how it is there? Inverted. Yes or no? If at all it is like this, not like this. If at all it is like this, usually it will be upright. This is the upright. But here, as per the data, it is not like this. It is like this, which is an upright pyramid of biomass. Usually will be upright, but as per the data, it is inverted. So now let us see the options. So the inverted pyramid of biomass is there. That is the answer for 25th question. And now moving on to the 26th one. In stratosphere, which one of the following elements acts as a catalyst in degradation of ozone and release of molecular oxygen? So degradation of ozone means which are the elements which are causing ozone hole. They are making a hole in the ozone layer. So what are those elements? You know that those are chlorofluorocarbons. CFCs will make this. So CFC is nothing but chlorofluorocarbons. So let us see the options over here. So chlorine is there. So directly you can go for this because chlorofluorocarbons. So these are responsible for ozone depletion, and here they had given chlorine, so the chlorine is the answer. Now moving on to the 27th, which two functional groups are characteristic of sugars? It's a chemistry based question. You know about the sugar, so carbonyl and phosphate group won't be present, and carbonyl and methyl group won't be present or not. Yes, it is the carbonyl and methyl group will be present. In the whenever you take any sugar, in the sugar what will be present? There will be aldoses and ketoses. There will be presence of aldose group and ketone group. So CHO group will be present and CO group will be present. So carbonyl group will be present and also methyl group, not methyl, hydroxyl group will be present. So carbonyl and hydroxyl group will be there when you compare aldose and ketones. Next, moving on to the 28th question, which among the following is not a prokaryote? So you know about the nostoc blue-green algae. So it is a prokaryote. Mycobacterium, it is also a prokaryote. Oscillatoria, it is also a bacterial prokaryote. But if you take Saccharomyces, it is a fungus. Fungi is nothing but a eukaryote. So it is Saccharomyces. Next, the Golgi complex participates in. So you know about the cell structure and the different elements which are present in the cell. So if you take any cell into the consideration, inside the cell there will be nucleus like this, and then the Golgi bodies will be present. This is cisform and this is transform, cisform and transform. So these are the Golgi bodies. So what they are asking about that, the Golgi complex, what it will does. So from this, whenever the proteins are synthesized, means from rRNA like that. So whatever are synthesized, these will enter into the cis form and they will comes out of the trans form. While they are coming enters into the cis form and coming out through the trans form, in between there will be the vesicles formation will occur. It will be formed into a vesicle like structure. So what are those? Formation of the secretory vesicles. So Golgi complex is mainly responsible for the formation of the secretory vesicles. Next is 30th question. Which of the following is not a product of light reaction of the photosynthesis? So in this paper itself, we have seen that NAD plus is responsible for the cellular respiration, which is an electron carrier, and when it carries an electron, it will forms into NADH. So that NADH is not a product of light reaction of photosynthesis. And if you take all other NADPH, ATP, oxygen, all these are the products of the photosynthesis. So what will be the answer? That is NADH will be the answer, which is a not a product of the light reaction. Now let us move on to the next question. 31st question. Which of the following is true for nucleolus? So this is the nucleolus which is present inside the cell. So nucleolus will never take part in spindle formation. For the formation of spindle fibers, which is responsible? For the formation of spindle fibers, centrioles are responsible, not the nucleolus. And next is it's a membrane bound structure. So nucleolus is a membrane bound structure. It's not that much specifically membrane bound structure, so you can opt out that. And larger nuclei are present in dividing cells. Nucleoli will be almost same in everything. It is not depending upon the large or small. And it's a site for active ribosomal RNA synthesis. Yes, from the nucleolus only there will be synthesis of DNA, RNA, and RNA it is of many types, or RNA, tRNA, mRNA. All this will be synthesized, and through the nuclear pores they will come out. So the ribosomes will come out through the nuclear pores. So it is a site for active ribosomal RNA synthesis. Next is 32nd question. Stomatal movement is not affected by. What is the main role of stomata? Stomata will closes and opens depending upon the turgidity. So if this is a leaf cell, mesophyll cells of the leaf, if this is a leaf, the mesophyll cells of the leaf will contain the stomata. In grasses, usually the stomata will be dumbbell shaped, but here it will be in this shape, it will be present. Kidney shaped, it will present. Depending upon the turgidity, there will be closing and opening of the stomata. And turgidity means it is mainly what and all will be involved in that. So in that, light, temperature, carbon dioxide, all are playing a role, because these are mainly responsible for the sake of transpiration. Transpiration means whenever temperature is more outside, so lot of oxygen and carbon dioxide entry and exit will happen over here. So except the oxygen concentration, it is not affected by the oxygen concentration. Rest of all, it will be affected. 33rd question. The stage during which separation of the paired homologous chromosomes begins. Please underline, they have asked begins. The pairing and separation of the homologous chromosomes has not done, it is started. Okay, so the stage during which separation of paired homologous chromosomes begins in, and they have given all the stages of the prophase 1. You know about the stages of prophase 1 of meiosis 1. So what are the stages? Here you have to remember the order of the stages. So what are the order of stages here? The initial stage is called as leptotene stage. So leptotene stage, what will happen? Pairing doesn't happen. It is the initial stage, like bouquet formation will be there. And then zygotene stage, where it is the second stage in the prophase 1 of meiosis. And then in the Pachytene stage, what will happen? The crossing over or pairing of the homologous chromosomes will happen. But here, what they said, separation of the paired homologous chromosomes. Here, the recombination will occur, means the pairing of homologous chromosomes will happen. And after that, in the diplotin, after recombination, after the exchange, then what will happen? This separation of the paired homologous chromosomes will begins over here, and it will ends in the last stage, which is called as diakinesis. For this, I have clearly explained about the cell cycle and cell division in my videos. You can watch those videos for clear explanation of prophase 1 of meiosis 1, so that it will be easy to remember. So here it is diplotin. And coming to the 34th, stomata in grass leaf are which shaped? This is a direct question. It is a dumbbell shaped. How it will be present? In the grass leaf, it will be present like a dumbbells, like this. So like this, it will be present. Usually stomata will be present how? Kidney shaped, but in grass, it is dumbbell shaped. 35th, secondary xylem and phloem in dicot stem are produced by which one? It is produced by Which one? Secondary xylem and phloem in the dicot. So you know that first there will be the formation of primary xylem and phloem, and after that a cambial ring will be formed, and after the formation of the cambial ring, this is the cambium. So this cambial ring will push us towards outside, and here there will be formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem will be there towards the outside. So which will forms means which will produce those two? Cambium will produce, and it is a vascular cambium. Okay. Next is pneumatophores. This is since from childhood you are studying that pneumatophores, where you will see these are nothing but whenever there is a saline soil for the sake of oxygen. So these pneumatophores will be present above the soil. Those are called as pneumatophores. Okay. What are these pneumatophores? Where you will see this pneumatophores? You will see in saline regions. So it means halophytes like that. So what is the answer? It is in halophytes. Okay. And Casparian strips occur in, you know about the apoplast pathway, symplast pathway. So Casparian strips, they will occur in the endodermis. Okay. That's a direct question. So it is endodermis. Moving on to 38th question. Plants having little or no secondary growth or. So if you observe the grasses, so will it becomes woody like this? Like a wood it will form? No, no. If this is a tree. So in the grasses only small it will be present. So it's easy question. So little or no secondary growth will occur in grasses. Next is sweet potato is a modified. You know about the sweet potato where it will be present. It will be in a different shape like this, and it is under the ground. The roots will form. That to which roots? You can't able to see, no? So the sweet potato it will be like the shape, and it is formed from the adventitious roots. If this is a soil below, you can able to see the sweet potato. So it's a modified adventitious root. Moving on to the 40th question. Which one of the following statements is correct? So if you see the statements over here, horsetails or gymnosperms, Selaginella is heterosporous, while Salvinia is homosporous. Ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall in gymnosperms. Yeah. So you can see the C option over here. Gymnosperms are nothing but naked seeded plants. That means the seeds are not covered with a coat. That's what has been given. So C is the correct option. It's the correct statement. Others are not correct statement. Next, 41st, select the wrong statement. Let us see the statements. Pseudopodia are locomotory and feeding structures in sporozoans. What are sporozoans? You know that all the parasites will comes under the sporozoans. So whatever parasites, endoparasites are present, those are sporozoans. So endoparasites, they doesn't, as it is a parasite, it is depending upon the host. It doesn't require anything for locomotion nor feeding. It directly sucks from the host. So first option is the wrong option. Others also, let us see. Mushrooms belong to Basidiomycetes. Yes, correct. And cell wall is present in members of fungi and plantae. Yes. What is the fungal cell wall? Think the fungal cell wall is chitin. And what about the plant cell wall? It is nothing but cellulose. Okay, so that is also correct option. And mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells, and for the sake of respiration, it will be useful. That is also correct. Next, moving on to the 42nd question. After karyogamy followed by meiosis, spores are produced exogenously in. So they are talking about exogenous budding. So where you will see the exogenous budding, where you can able to see. In mushrooms, will you see the exogenous budding or not? So the buds will be formed over here like that. So if you see the options, Saccharomyces is the fungus, so you can opt out that. After karyogamy, they have said, what is karyogamy? Fusion of the nuclei. So after karyogamy followed by meiosis, whenever karyogamy means if these are the nuclei, this nuclei will fuses and then the meiosis will happen. uh, Spores are produced exogenously, means outside the spores will be produced. It is in agaricus. In agaricus, meiospores will be produced. Okay. Next, moving on to the 43rd question. Match the items given in the column with the column 2 and select the correct option. So, okay, what is a herbarium? You know about herbarium. We will take the plant, flowers, all those things, and we will stick onto the paper. We'll dry it and then we will staple it onto the paper. So, if you see the options over here, it's a place where dried and pressed plant specimens mounted. So, one is for three, and a key, you know about that. What is a key? And museum, it's a place having a collection of preserved plants and animals. And catalog, it is a list that enumerates, and key is a booklet containing the list of the characters. So if you see the options, one is for three and three is for one. If you see the options, D. Yeah. So D is the correct answer. Next, coming on to the 44th question, the winged pollen grains are present in. It's a direct question. We will see the winged pollen grains in Pinus. Okay. And then which one is wrongly matched? Gemmacups, Morgantia, yes, it's correct. Biflagellate juice spores, brown algae. So juice spores where you will see usually uniflagellate or biflagellates. How it will be present? Juice spores, whether uni or biflagellate. So it is biflagellate. You know that the zoospores, how it will be present? It flagella will be present like this. So this is the zoospore structure, like cockroach only it will be present. So biflagellate zoospores and uniflagellate gametes in Polysiphonia. So this is the wrongly matched one. In Polysiphonia, uniflagellate gametes you can't able to see. Okay, and then unicellular organism is chlorella. Yes, chlorella is a unicellular organism. Chlorella, spirulina, all these are rich in proteinaceous, so they will take it into the spaces that one. So this is about the 45th question. So I will be stopping here. The 45th question, still 45 more questions are there. So that I will be doing in the second, means because it will be a very long video, so I'll be stopping here. Still 45 more questions from the NEET 2018 I will be dealing in the next video. Please don't miss, because all these questions are from the NEET 2018 question papers. If you solve the previous year's questions, then lot of knowledge you will get and it will be very useful for you, so that you can easily attempt the answers. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe to my channel, so that if I get appreciation, then I will be doing more videos, that too for your sake. Okay. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, Samjia's Biology Tutorials. Bye. Happy learning.